Let's vibe with an ESPN list on free agents. They put out a list of the top 50 free agents this offseason and also
love a good list.
Chose their perfect landing spots. The top 50, nothing earth-shattering there. Like where they were in order, who was where. Sure, I think Brian Burns should be 3 spots higher. I think T. Higgins should be low. Like, okay, we can get into that. But the order of the list didn't intrigue me as much as what we can learn about the perfect landing spots, right? The perfect landing spots. Because to me, perfect, when they say the word perfect, right, we're looking at like utopias. We're looking at genuine articles. We're looking at everybody's happy. Wins. Panthers were given 3 free agents as far as a perfect landing spot. 3 of them. That's a lot. Out of 50? It's a lot. For a team that I've been told time and time again, nobody's going to want to come play for because the owner stinks and they lose a lot. They were tabbed with 3 being the perfect landing spot. One of which is their own, Brian Burns. Another is wide receiver from Tampa Bay, Mike Evans.
Okay.
And the third kind of came out of the blue. Offensive lineman from New England, Trent Brown. Now,
well, they do need an O-line boost, that's for sure.
I thought we can learn something interesting from all 3 of those. Which one should we start with, Dennis? A little grab bag, a little choose your own adventure.
Let's start Trent Brown.
Trent Brown. Here's why I thought that was interesting. Because perfect means it's good for the team, it's good for the player, right? It's perfect. If you bring in Trent Brown, he's playing left tackle, right? He's 6'8", 300 million pounds, and he's a left tackle. Like there are certain guys on a football team, you look at him, you go, oh yeah, you're a left tackle. Or you're a right tackle, but let's be real. The Panthers have Taylor Moton, and he's not going anywhere. He's pretty good this past year. One of the few. So if Trent Brown's playing left tackle, and that's perfect, that means it is perfect for the Panthers to move Ike Ekwonu to guard. Is it perfect to move Ike Ekwonu to guard? By the way, you drafted him top 10 not that long ago. You're not drafting guards in the top 10 unless they are all gosh darn world. Not even like all conference, not all pro. They're all galaxy if you're drafting them in the top 10. Trent Brown going to the Panthers would be a pretty big admittance by this staff, which is new, that the old staff swung and missed pretty hard. It would be Dan Morgan saying that staff that I was a part of as an assistant swung and missed in a big way, and the staff that I'm a part of as the head GM has to fix it by moving him into guard. The other part is I don't hate the move. I think Icky can be a really, really good guard.
Some say he could actually be a dominant interior offensive lineman.
Run blocking for sure. Pass blocking is what pass blocking is, but you're less exposed on the interior of the offensive line. And then Trent Brown just has to – Trent Brown's had some really good seasons in this league. He just has to get back to kind of playing near his peak, and that left side could be really, really good. Bringing in a left tackle is the only way the Panthers can increase 2 of their positions with 1 move. Right? Because you bring in Trent Brown at left tackle, you move Icky to left guard, you now have a better guard and a better tackle, and you only made 1 move. And one of the themes you're going to hear today, because today is the opening of franchise tag season in the NFL, one of the things you're going to hear from me often is the Panthers can't trade one solution for one solution. They have to always look for ways to solve 2 problems with 1 thing, right? If you trade Brian Burns, you have to solve 2 problems because you're going to be creating a problem when you move Brian Burns. If you sign Trent Brown and you can solve 2 problems with 1 solution, that's what the Panthers need to do because their list of things that need to be fixed is not short. Right? The Chiefs, they can go hunting for the one thing they need to fix. Hey, they want to have a big play wide receiver that they trust. Guess what they have to do? Go use their first-round pick on a big play wide receiver that they trust. They're 1 asset for 1 solution. The Panthers, hey, you got the 33rd overall pick. You need A big play wide receiver that you trust. You probably need a possession wide receiver that you trust. You probably need a tight end. You need a running back. You need a tackle. You need a guard. You need help on defense, particularly in the secondary. You need to replace Frankie Louvu. He's a free agent. Who knows if he's coming back?
Need another corner.
You need another corner, probably a nickel corner also.
Probably 3 of them.
You need a lot, and you need to hope for a few other things to come true, like Shaq Thompson to get healthy and play like old Shaq Thompson, like J.C. Horn to be healthy and play like he played at the peak for an entire season. You need Hayden Hurst to get healthy and be at least good enough to be on the roster. Like you need all of this to happen. So you do need to look for like 2 solutions in one, right? If you draft a wide receiver at number 33, and they can be at number 1, guess what? That moves Adam Thielen to your number 2. You got better at wide receiver 1. You got better at wide receiver 2. That's 2 solutions or 2 problems being solved with 1 solution. Mm-hmm. Same is true with bringing in Trent Brown. So I don't hate the move. Which one do you want to do next, Brian Burns or Mike Evans?
Mike Evans. Talking about that number 1. You just mentioned receivers.
Mike Evans. This is the tough part for me, right? This is all of a list, ESPN.com. They had the 50 top free agents and their perfect landings. Perfect landing, Mike Evans in Carolina. I want to know what he's looking for if perfect is Carolina. Right? I'm not saying this to be mean to Carolina, but what I am saying is Mike Evans is not the youngest wide receiver out there, right? Most guys Mike Evans' age and Mike Evans' stature, right, are thinking legacy. You know what Mike Evans is thinking? Hall of Fame. You know what Mike Evans is thinking? I want to play for something real late in my career. That's what most guys his age are thinking. Why Carolina? It could be that.
I mean, he's already won a Super Bowl.
He's already won a Super Bowl, but I also think like he's had 1,000 yards in every single one of his seasons. I think he wants to continue that. Maybe he feels like as the big fish in a small pond in Carolina, he can keep that rolling for a couple more years. I know why he would make sense for Carolina because their coach just coached him in Tampa. Dave Canales was the offensive coordinator in Tampa. I know why he makes sense for Carolina because they need a number 1 wide receiver, and more importantly, they need a number 1 wide receiver that can bail out Bryce Young occasionally, and Mike Evans is 6'5" and is uncovered even when he's covered, right? He's open even when he's covered, which is a really nice thing for a quarterback to be like, all right, if I got to throw it up to someone, let me throw it up to this power forward downfield. I just don't exactly see why it would make a ton of sense for Mike Evans in this direction, unless it is a money thing and he wants to feel appreciated and he could go be another guy added on to Kansas City. He could go be another guy added on somewhere else, or he could be the guy in Carolina, which might be something he's also interested in. That leaves Brian Burns. Brian Burns being a perfect fit for Carolina is interesting. Because if he's a perfect fit for Carolina, wouldn't Carolina pay him the most?
You would think.
I floated this yesterday. I'm tempted to say they should do it. Should they let Brian Burns test the market? I'm not if Brian Burns, and the rumors are out there, he wants to be one of the highest paid edge rushers in the game. I don't think he gets that elsewhere. Now, it could be cold-blooded and borderline mean to say, fine, go get top of the market money. And when you don't, come back and we'll give you $26 million per year, like we've been offering this whole time. Like if that's how you're going to handle business, that is cold-blooded and ruthless and a little risky. I might transition tag him, right? Whatever that tag is that you get picks back if you don't match the offer sheet that he signs with someone else. I might do that. But I might let Brian Burns go find it. Which, again, it's me. Like, imagine telling, your significant other, right? They yell at you in a fight. Do you realize how many people would want this? And you're like, go to the bar. Take off your ring. When nobody wants it, come on back. Like, that is a very cold thing to do. But maybe. If everybody's like, I don't know, he's best fit in Carolina, that might mean nobody out there is willing to pay. And if nobody out there is willing to pay, you go let him figure that out. Then you come back and sign the deal you've had on the line for him the past 2 off seasons. Maybe. Little nugget here. The last part of this article, ESPN.com, 50 top free agents of the NFL offseason. Where's their perfect landing spot? Frankie Louvu was on this list. He was number 42. They did not perfectly fit him to Carolina. Sent him to Arizona. That's a bummer. Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's a bummer. I really like Louvu.
I'm a huge fan of Louvu.
We do cons and cons. What are you most confident in and concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Panthers? Frankie Louvu was our confidence a lot this year. There were games where he was the only thing you felt you could depend on. It was him and Adam Thielen. That was about it. I'm a big Frankie Louvu fan, but I do think this is, like, if I were Frankie Louvu's friend, if he texted me and said, hey, man, free agency's coming up, what should I do? I would send him back one piece of advice. Go get your money. He's a guy that was special teams guy, right? Special teams and depth piece at linebacker until recently. I think he set him up to have pretty high value, set himself up to have pretty high value. Go get your money. Just one time in your career, do it for you. Do it for the financial security of your kids. Like, go take care of business. And then after that, if you still have value on the open market after this next deal is up, then you go chase a ring or you go find the perfect fit or you play for a coach you love. But go get your $5 million a year over 4 years and take your $20 million and say, all right, look at that. Kids, go to whatever college you want. Like, go take care of that is kind of my advice to him. And if that's not Carolina, it's not Carolina. If it is Carolina, awesome. Opposite of a bummer. Whatever that is. I'll be stoked. But if it's not, it's not. If it's Arizona, they have good golf out there. You might want to pick up the sport in the offseason.